ROAS is one of the most important terms you will ever learn in paid media. But if your e-commerce team is treating a high ROAS like you're judging dating app profiles, we've got to have a conversation. Because if you're seeing, let's say, a 7x ROAS, that looks great at first, like a hot guy who has a great job, seems to live on his own, and appears to do his own laundry. So of course, you're immediately swiping right, planning the wedding, telling all your friends. But if you start to look closer at these numbers, they may tell you a different story. For instance, that 7x ROAS may actually be the result of branded search and remarketing. So basically, that 7x ROAS is taking credit for a lot of marketing that's already been done. Meanwhile, way off to the side, maybe you had a different campaign with a much lower ROAS, but that particular campaign was doing a harder job finding new customers, opening up new demand, and building out future revenue. That's why understanding what ROAS is useful. And it's also why ROAS can absolutely make a mess of your decision-making if you let it run the whole conversation. So in this video, we're going to cover what ROAS is, how to calculate it, what it looks like in real-world examples, and how to tell whether the ROAS you're seeing is actually good. What is ROAS? ROAS is an acronym that stands for Return on Ad Spend. So at its simplest, ROAS is telling you how much revenue you're generating for every dollar that you spend on your paid advertising. So if you spend $1 on ads and make $5 in revenue, your ROAS is 5x or 5 to 1, meaning for every dollar you spent, you got $5 in return. I know, on its surface, it sounds so nice, so clean, so easy breezy. But the moment you start using ROAS to make real e-commerce decisions, you have to ask better questions. What are we actually counting as revenue? What costs are included? Is this a prospecting campaign, a branded search campaign, a remarketing campaign, or something else? And does this number actually tell us whether the business is making money? At its core, ROAS is an efficiency metric. It tells you how efficiently ad spend is turning into attributed revenue. It does not, however, automatically tell you whether that revenue is profitable, incremental, high quality, or strategically useful. And that's something you need to keep in mind. The formula for ROAS is quite simple. Revenue attributed to ads divided by the amount you spent on those ads. So let's say you spend $10,000 on a paid ad campaign, and those paid ads generate $40,000 in attributed revenue. You're then looking at a ROAS of 4 or 4 to 1. Sometimes you might also see this number for ROAS expressed as a percentage. So using our same example of $40,000 in attributed revenue divided by 10,000, you're looking at a percentage ROAS of 400%. But the most common way that we see a lot of people talk about ROAS is using it as a multiple, 4x ROAS in our case, or 5x, 20x, etc. It's faster and it's cleaner, and fewer people feel like they've accidentally walked into a finance seminar. Honestly, this is some of the easiest math that you can do. Now, I want to take a moment and talk about the top part of the equation, attributed revenue. So in most ROAS calculations, revenue means the revenue attributed to a specific ad, campaign, platform, or channel during a given time period. Now, that attribution might come from Google Ads, Meta, Shopify, or another reporting setup. But here's the thing that trips a lot of teams up. Attributed revenue is shaped by different attribution rules. Different platforms use different attribution windows, different systems to assign credit differently. So one thing you always want to do is make sure that you take a look at the platform that you're using and have a deep understanding of how they calculate and attribute revenue to a particular ad campaign. Of course, some campaigns naturally look better in platform when you take a look at their ROAS because of the very nature of the type of campaigns that they are. And this is going back to something I mentioned at the start of this video. Branded search is a classic example. Branded search terms are usually people who are farther down the buyer's journey, right? They're already familiar with you. They may be closer to making a decision. And remarketing is another classic example where you are going out and targeting with ads people who have already come into contact with your products, your services, your website. They've already behaviorally indicated that, hey, they might be interested. So these campaigns might naturally have higher ROAS when you look at the numbers. And that's not to say that those numbers don't count. It's just something to remember contextually when you're weighing the efficacy of different campaigns. Like I said at the start of this video, if you have a branded search or remarketing paid ad campaign, it's not going to indicate that a campaign that was designed to generate new customer acquisition may perform a little lower. Right? Contextually, it makes sense. It costs more to acquire new customers than to remarket or target those who may have already been further along in their buyer's journey. Next, let's unpack the other part of this equation. What actually constitutes ad spend? Now, you might be thinking to yourself, duh, it's the amount you spend on the paid ads. Yes, you can take the most basic approach, right? We have set aside $10,000 in our budget for this particular Google Ads campaign. Ergo, our ad spend is $10,000. That is the cleanest and simplest version. But that also might be a little bit misleading. Let's look at a car, for example. Let's say you own a car and you have a monthly car payment. And if somebody asks you, how much is your car? You might just reference your car payment, but think about what you actually spend on your car each month. Yes, you have your monthly car payment, but you also have insurance. You also have gas. You have maintenance costs. You have an annual registration with your state or country. The same idea here applies to paid advertising. And this is why when calculating what the true ad spend number is, a lot of high growth e-commerce brands like to take a more broad view. Instead of just the money they included for their budget, they might include things like agency fees, freelancer costs, creative production, and platform fees tied to the campaign. And this broader version gives you a more honest view of what it actually costs to generate revenue with your ad campaigns. Of course, you can still just calculate it based on the amount of your actual budget. And if you're only including that media spend, what you're really measuring is media efficiency. If you include the broader costs, you're getting a closer look at commercial efficiency. Neither approach is automatically wrong, but you do need to know which version you're going to use. Because when we say we have 7x ROAS, that's great, but it can mean very different things depending on how you are calculating that ad spend number. So what is a good ROAS number? And guys, you're not gonna like me, but you know what I'm about to say. Of course, the answer is it depends. There is no universal magic number where this paid ad wizard comes down from the sky and says, congratulations, your ROAS is a real boy now. That doesn't work. Sure, there is a commonly cited benchmark of 4-to-1 or $4 for every $1 spent. That can be a useful reference point, but again, a good ROAS depends on your business model, right? If you have a 7x ROAS, how great a number that is for you will depend on your specific margins, your specific average order value, your shipping costs, your discounting, your repeat purchase behavior, your customer acquisition costs, your growth stage. Get what I'm saying? So yes, that 7x ROAS may be absolutely excellent, but it also may be less impressive depending on the specifics of your campaign. If it's mostly coming from branded search, if it's remarketing, if we're dealing with heavily discounted orders or very, very narrow margins. Meanwhile, you may have a 3.5x ROAS campaign that doesn't look so hot on the surface, but it's actually bringing in new customers with stronger lifetime value, and it may be doing very important work. And that's why ROAS cannot be judged by the numbers alone. Context is key. So quick recap, we've covered a lot today. ROAS means return on ad spend, which is revenue attributed to a paid ad campaign divided by the ad dollars that you spent. ROAS is useful, it's easy to calculate, and it helps you understand campaign efficiency. But it also needs context. A good ROAS number is only as good as the margins that are behind it, the types of campaigns that you're running, and the ability to look at the context of what it is that you're spending money on. Are you looking to acquire new customers? Are you looking to remarket to customers that you already have, or people who are farther down that journey? So don't be so quick to label a number as either good or bad. Look at the number you get with ROAS as a starting point to say, great, so how did we get here? The moral of the story is never let one number do all of the thinking and the talking for you. And if you have specific questions about the ROI of your own paid ad campaigns, or just want to talk more about what we discussed in this video, don't hesitate to reach out to our team here at Solutions 8. We'd be happy to help.